Hey you, I'm Anissa. Welcome to Create to Liberate. Today's video is about anchoring in truth every single day and the importance of that. If you find yourself in a pattern of desiring to live somewhere else, of wanting to find your people, your community, wanting to have experiences that affirm your sense of belonging, affirm your place in the world, then this is the video for you or episode for you if you're tuning in on audio. So appreciated. If you enjoy this, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and if that's you on audio, leaving a review or rating this podcast 5 stars helps a lot. As always, I share wisdom from my own lived experience, as I believe we're all each other's mirrors. We provide a mirror to each other to be able to see ourselves more clearly and hopefully empower each other. So this topic was particularly relevant to me in the last 2 days. I had this coming down of returning from travels in Greece, and being over there is really soul nourishing. So meditative to spend time swimming in the sea regularly, communing with the sunshine, just being in this level of heat too, that somewhat debilitates you, where you can do pretty much nothing, and there's a beautiful feeling that comes with just being forced to be with ourselves. I was actually quite happy to return to Los Angeles. I felt this level of creative expression, and I love the individualism of the United States in general. People are allowed to self-express. There's truly a lot of beautiful freedoms. But the come down was felt when I started to attend different events and things going on in the city, and I was looking for my people, or I was looking for this feeling of feeling more connected to communities here or people here than I did. So I'd leave a lot of these events, and one of them I left yesterday. And it was actually a very sweet event. It was an elderly majority group, and it was a storytelling event, and listening to their stories, they were all excited, and it was creative, and I consider myself a storyteller as well. And so it was inspiring to see people in their 60s, 70s plus enjoying themselves and telling stories to an audience of folks. And I love that feeling, especially here, because it helps me envision being able to be here in a long-term way. But when I came home, I just felt this level of frustration. And it's so important to tune into what is our true selves versus what is signals that we're not in alignment with our true selves. So if you look into human design, you might be able to get some specificity on this. They'll determine your not self characteristics. Maybe it comes out as frustration, feeling more irritable, feeling more sadness and nostalgia. There's signs for me that I'm disconnecting from my highest vibrational state or my authentic self when I get myself frustrated or irritable or angry. That's kind of like my default not self. When I get into that brooding state, it is an aspect of me that's desiring to be acknowledged. So I came home and I was frustrated. I was like, was it the traffic? Was it this event itself? It did last a little longer, and I was kind of sitting there impatient at times. Was it this other interaction that I had with this other human today? What was it that's creating this frustration within me? And I came to realize it was this state that many of us experience where we go to the outer world to have satiation. You do things, you attend things, you have relationships with people so that you can have this feeling of contentment. And sometimes when we go to the outer world first to receive that contentment, that satisfaction, that validation, it is affirming to ourselves that that's the place that we're going to feel the finale. No, that's the cherry on top. Everything outside of us is the cherry on top. And so what I had to come back to was myself. It's so beautiful to want to connect with people on a deeper level and feel at home in their presence. It's so beautiful, the human desire to feel connected in part of community. But first we have to feel connected to ourselves. First we have to anchor in our truth. And I didn't do enough of that yesterday, so I tried to double up on it today. We want to believe that we don't have to make it a daily practice to be with ourselves, that there's a level of enlightenment or wholeness that we can feel if we focus on the outer world. But it's not been the truth in my experience. The truth is, if you want to feel a deep sense of belonging, you have to come home to being with yourself more often. You have to wake up every single morning, practice meditation, practice mindfulness throughout the day, come to yourself at the end of the days. You can also have a nighttime routine. And how can you tune a little bit more into your needs? How can you fill up your cup first? How can you affirm to yourself that you're lovable, that you belong, that you're home always with yourself? I do not mean you alone. I really do mean you with the goddess, you with God, you with your highest self, you in relationship to angels, whatever spiritual ascended masters you connect with, etc. There's a universe also within us, not just outside of us. And so I find myself most out of alignment when I start focusing on the many exciting things that are happening within my city, my chosen city. And I chose it because I do love novelty. But if I prioritize that over this, over being a little bit of a monk sometimes, then I don't feel good. And I think we need to culturally shift towards it being normalized to have this level of cherishing our sacred practices. Because despite me going to so many affinity spaces where I was like, oh yeah, Afro-Latino Festival, oh yeah, Black improv comedy event, yeah, I'm there. So many things I went to. And it didn't bring me any closer to that feeling of deep connection, more than sitting by myself alone. See, if I had sat alone and did a deeper meditation practice and then attended these things, it would have felt a little bit differently. Or if I didn't have the expectation and the clinging to feeling such a grand level of satisfaction from attending these things, then maybe I'd feel differently. And today I have been consistently attending a bit of a spiritual workshop, and it's been supportive for me to be reminded of the people that I admire most. And they might be different from the people that you admire most. But I know that the people that I admire most are able to really sink in deeply with themselves, deeply with their soul, deeply be in the expanded presence of what's within them, tune out of the world that we see in front of us and really tune inside and discover the world within. And the more time that they give themselves to discover the world within, the more expanded they become, the more filled with love. The more filled with love you can become by spending more time giving to yourself, giving your attention to yourself, and looking at your shadows and looking at your light. Being able to spend that time also allows us to be able to spend that time with other people, to drop in more deeply with other people, to have more nourishing relationships. Because that feeling of belonging that we desire doesn't come from escaping ourselves to be with others. It comes from being in deep presence with ourselves so that we can deeply connect with others. In a lot of these spaces also that I went to, there's a barrier to intimacy. So sometimes when we find ourselves desiring to be around people, we're craving actually a deep level of intimacy that's sometimes more found in intimate settings, so in smaller group settings and one-to-one connection. And so if you are able to first sit with yourself in the morning or in the evening, and you get to ask yourself, what do you need? You can ask your soul, what do you need from me? What would you like? What would make you feel your most expanded, expressed, highest version of self? And you hear, I want to feel like I belong more. Then affirm to yourself that you belong, but also find things that reinforce that feeling of belonging. So sometimes you might notice you spend time in these massive groups where you feel more aloneness, or you spend time with people that you don't feel as nourished and connected to, and we continue to repeat patterns that are out of alignment. So when we actually tune into what our needs are and we start recognizing the ways that our actions haven't been aligned with our true needs, then we have to start stepping differently. So this was a big thing for me, and it still continues to be an ongoing exploration around belonging, because I do love the massive city that I've chosen to live with. There's so much novelty, excitement, and spontaneity, and I'm simultaneously continually becoming a bit of a hermit in my spiritual practices, and I do love that juxtaposition, but I also find it quite challenging, and so it continues to remain a question to me, how to find the balancing and also how that friction is supportive to us. One of the things it comes back to being compassionate to ourselves around some of the actions we've taken that are not in alignment. They've shown us that they were guiding us more towards our true selves because of that disconnection. Maybe you've chosen relationships and partners that have been the wrong people, but they've taught you the right lessons. Maybe you've chosen the wrong jobs because they were shiny or something else, but they taught you the right lessons. Maybe you surround yourself with the wrong people or made some mistakes in life, but you received the right lessons. So know that there's also so much grace and so much compassion for the self, so much room for forgiveness of the self by moving out of alignment as well. I think those sometimes are the forcing functions that create us onto the path of alignment. And I was thinking about that in the context of Los Angeles, where it is a place that creates a lot of friction for me. And I think we grow and we become diamonds from that pressure and from that resistance. It shines us up, it polishes us up in a container of pressure to be in deeper commitment to ourselves, deeper in commitment to our faith, deeper commitment to the truth that is within us. So if everybody was guided by their own individual truth, it would be such an interesting world. I think that truth that comes from our cosmic selves, our most expanded, highest version of self, it's radically different from the world that we live in. And I know that so many of us are trying to bring that world forward into the world that we're experiencing. And that incongruency that we're feeling is because of that. You want to experience maybe Eden on earth. You want to experience more angelic vibes here on earth. You want to feel like we're in a place of love and compassion, of deep connection and mindfulness, but you have to be the embodiment of that. We can't just desire these things theoretically, conceptually, and then not embody them. And so some of the greatest work in this lifetime is to become in deeper embodiment with the values and with the world we'd like to see outside of ourselves. And that on a vibrational level really changes the collective whole too, just through your embodiment, without even being a preacher and sharing all the updates on social media, etc., like maybe me. Then you can still be so impactful because you're connected to all these other souls, and all those other souls are receiving this energetic shift as you continue to up-level and shift. I've witnessed this personally in my life with other souls I've come in contact with who are in my soul family, and it's beautiful to see. I'm like, wow, I'm not an original. No, not whatsoever. But we're all so beautifully unique, but not original, not completely. Some parts of us are shared deeply. And know that you being more in your authenticity, anchoring in your truth, honoring your needs every single day, and tuning into yourself, sitting in more silence, is giving yourself love that you deserve to receive from the outer world, and you giving it to yourself also allows the outer world to mirror that back. And he says, this is a very long way of saying meditate every single morning. Yes, it is. But it's not just about the practice of meditation alone. It's about carrying that anchoring on our truth through the entirety of our days, of feeling filled up enough within ourselves that we overflow with love to give, with care to give, with our wisdom to give, and can move from the state of, I want people to include me, to how can I make these other people around me feel included, because the experience that you're carrying, know that somebody else has been there or has felt that. And so in many of these events and things that I was going to now in retrospect, I was looking to feel more connected to others, for others to maybe bring me in. And what I can do and what you could do if you feel a resonance with this is practice being that person who brings other people in. Practice being the person who makes other people feel included. Make everybody feel like they're in your living room. No matter where you're going, they're a part of your living room now. They're in your house because they're in your vicinity. And the world is your oyster. Know that you're deeply worthy of belonging. You're here on earth right now, and that's worth everything. And I believe we all chose here to be here for a reason, and those reasons can be really small. Sometimes they can be larger, but it's beautiful to find joy daily, even if we're not clear on the why, who, what. The answers still remain unanswered, and the questions still linger within us as to what's the point? Where are we supposed to be? What's next? Just being able to sit with the unknown and creating spaciousness for us to sit with that unknown is so powerful. I'm sending you so much love in the days ahead, and anchoring into the truth of your belonging, the faith that you are supported beyond yourself, the knowing that you are meant to be here and a beacon of light for other people. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. If you're listening on audio, 5-star review, and I appreciate you being here.